Mm.
Oh, that's so yummy. Oh, it's very...
Told you.
It's a
Real cocktail.
real strong cocktail there.
Yep.
It's tequila. We'll just say my filter.
May change.
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, we can't really get, I don't want to say we can't get much worse. We could probably get real worse.
Have you met us?
Yeah. I take that. Totally take that back.
Mm-hmm.
Daughters are on the trampoline right outside of where we are recording. So we're just going to preface that because there may be some hooting and hollering and some
TikTok video making. That's what's happening out there. They're dancing and
Giggles McGee.
twirling. And I mean, I have some video of Emmeline really shaking it and shaking her, wagging her finger in somebody's face.
So last night we were leaving a restaurant, the 5 of us. We had gone out to dinner and we were leaving, and our youngest was excited to go visit my sister-in-law. So she has this baby doll that Isla loves. And when we were there last month, Isla had a meltdown when she couldn't take the baby doll with her. And I was like, no, this baby doll stays at Auntie Sharon's. And so we were leaving and I was saying that, oh, you'll get to play with the baby on Sunday. And Emmeline was like, what baby? What are you talking about? I was like, the baby doll at Auntie Sharon's house. She's, oh my God. She's, thank God. She said, for one second, I thought you were telling us that you were having a baby again. And that wouldn't be possible because daddy's penis is sealed.
But wait, the text message I get is, you can't be pregnant because daddy's penis is sealed. And I'm like, what? You're fucking pregnant again? The last time you were pregnant, I knew immediately and called you right when you took the... I didn't even know you were taking a test.
I know.
I was about to be real mad at my spidey senses there.
Yeah, which lends itself right for our topic of the day. So then I was like, excuse me? And Graham goes, his penis can't be sealed because then he wouldn't be able to pee. And I was like, what is this conversation we're having? I was like, first of all, I am not pregnant, nor will I be in the future, because you are correct, Emmeline. Daddy did have a vasectomy.
Daddy did have his penis sealed.
His penis, however, is not sealed. But I'm glad that is the impression that is now in her brain, that they just have a sealed penis if it happens. Like, all done.
But how does she know what an unsealed penis is?
I don't know. I mean, the fact that she was just, when she said it, I was like, I just got this. I mean, we couldn't stop laughing. We were just dying in the car. And then
Isla told me all about it today.
She's been calling it her peanuts.
Yes, her peanuts are sealed.
This is the problem with stories and children of different ages. They just hear whatever they want. Yeah. And then, Emmeline, I was texting you this in the car last night because I was dying. And I was like, oh my God. And Emmeline's, who are you texting? And your mom. And I was like, no, also no. No, how are we here? Your mom jokes were here. Ugh. There's things that I just didn't want to ever revisit that are just puking themselves in my face. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay, here we go.
I know. How do they keep coming back? Generation after generation.
I don't know. I really don't. I really don't. And some of the slang that is out there now is, whoa.
It is really.
It's sus.
It's sus.
So
I used a word.
Stupid is what it is.
I used a word the other day. Oh, remember when I used the word delulu?
Oh, yeah.
And I was talking to Charlie about it. And he was like, oh, even my students don't use that, Krystyn. And then him and Evie had a whole conversation about Riz.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Riz. So.
Sounds like a dog.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to have to ask.
Why does everything get shortened to sus, Riz? I mean, did we do that?
I don't remember doing that. Now I'm trying to remember what Evie's definition of it was.
But if we went out and we said any of this, the kids would be like, shut up.
Oh, my God.
You're embarrassing me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go hug that tree out there in a little bit. Emmeline will have a meltdown. Not only because her friends are here, but also because everyone's on spring break. And I'll be like, oh my God, I bet your friends are all driving by the house right now, just looking at me hugging this tree.
You can be like, I couldn't help myself. This tree had so much Riz.
I mean, there you go. It was just calling my name.
Good times. God, it's really hot in here.
I also just gave you a cup
Toasty.
basically of straight tequila. So today on the Krystyn and Rachael show. I mean, I'm just kidding. Welcome
to two Mystic Mamas. Okay, on today's episode,
yes,
we are talking about unleashing your intuition, tapping into your intuition, receiving messages.
Yeah, let's just dive into that.
Yeah, let's do it. I think we can just start with some simple steps that we go through.
Or also the definition of, I did receive some feedback.
Oh, yeah.
From a listener.
Okay.
A close friend listener.
Good.
Who is really digging the messaging that we're putting out on different episodes, but did say sometimes we are too quick to just jump into whatever the topic is without explaining some of it, because it might not be, there's some listeners that might be like, I don't even know what intuition is.
No,
what are they talking about?
Great feedback. Thank you.
I know. And I was like, that is because it was the one where we're talking about making space.
Mm-hmm.
And we started talking about some rituals, but not going into like detail about them enough.
Okay.
So he was left feeling a little, what do I do?
This is so good to know.
I know. I think intuition is one of those things too that everybody can have a little bit of their own interpretation of what the definition is. But the basic definition is
the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning.
Intuition is your innate ability as a human to know something to be true. So when you are faced with a situation or it just happens. It happens flawlessly and without thinking. It just is.
And you can have intuitive feelings too.
Yes.
Right? You can feel as though something is happening and you don't have any proof.
Mm-hmm.
And then you FaceTime your friend and they're sobbing with a positive pregnancy test.
Mm-hmm.
You can have intuitive feelings about
things.
And
intuition is just a part. Everybody has intuition. Some of us are more keen to tap into it early on in life versus like later on in life. And some people really don't tap into their intuition at all. It can make people feel very uncomfortable because it's that unknowing knowing. It's like,
right,
but you don't know why the fuck you know.
It's like the unconscious mind.
Yeah.
And if you have ever had something that repeatedly comes into your brain that you feel like you're pushing aside, you're like, casting it aside, whether it's a feeling about something that's going to happen or a choice you should make, that's your intuition.
Yep.
Speaking to you.
Yep. And it can come to you, every day, all day. It's not something that needs to be like a monumental. It can come in monumental, miraculous ways. That definitely can happen. But most of the time, your intuition is just that initial gut feeling. Where
we are going to give you steps to help you tap in and listen to your intuition. Because that is really the hard part. Yes, following your intuition is one thing, right? Taking a leap of faith in a direction where you might not otherwise go just because you're intuitively feeling that way is one thing. But being able to tap in and listen is a whole different set of circumstances.
It is. And I will also preface this with a little bit of a trigger warning here that when you tap into your intuition, ultimately you are coming face to face with yourself, right? If you follow your intuition, it can be challenging at times, but life is challenging anyways. But you will be led home, and you possess all of the things you need to work through whatever comes up.
A lot of our intuition is a sum of not only our experiences, but generational experiences,
yes,
and knowledge, and also the assistance of your spirit guides and angels to guide you along this path.
Yeah, and if what are you guys talking about now? There's different beliefs that exist. I firmly believe in divine source energy, aka God, but that can be synonymous with other names. Also, the archangels, which are a band of angels. They've never been human, that are around us all the time and that can come and give us a lot of help and guidance. Then there are guardian angels, which have been with your soul since your soul's creation. So you're talking past lives, you're talking future lives. And then you have spirit guides, as Krystyn mentioned, who have been human at one point or another and have been with the soul and had a deep connection with that soul, usually through past lives, but can exist in this lifetime too.
And this is a good topic. I was actually talking to a friend of mine on the phone yesterday, and she really, enjoys listening to the podcasts. And I was saying, I really love that you and I have very different and unique perspectives on this.
Mm-hmm.
And we can talk about them openly and freely and admire that about each other.
Yes.
I also believe in universal energy. I am not Christian. And so I don't have an attachment to the word God
Mm-hmm.
or angels even necessarily. For me, it's more like cosmic energy. And not that I don't believe in angels, but that hasn't been like a part of the language
Sure.
that I have identified
Totally.
with, during my journey. So spirit guides, from past lives, current life, ancestors
Mm-hmm.
that are hanging around really to just kind of help guide us on our way.
Yep.
Because a lot of what we're doing here is moving forward to ascend to another level,
Correct.
right? And we do that through learning lessons.
Yep.
And I think they just want to give us a little boost.
and I would say the other thing that I love that you just touched on too is I find so much beauty in learning about other cultures and other religions, because all of this is secular in the sense that they are so similar. And so even, and I'm not an expert in any religion outside of Christianity, to be perfectly honest, but I find it to be fascinating and beautiful. Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, they all possess, so much that just is similar.
It is. I was always very intrigued by religion from a young age.
Yes.
And I sent myself on a whole spiritual journey.
A crusade.
I did. I had my own crusade, and I remember wanting to go to Catholic churches with my childhood best friend because her and her family would go. And I remember enrolling myself in middle school in Baptist camp for a summer.
Amazing.
And, studying Buddhism as I was getting older. And what I learned out of all of that research for myself was that I needed to follow my own intuition.
Yes.
And my own belief system.
Yes.
Because some mix of all of those things kind of made sense for me.
Right.
And for me, it all has to do with being attached to Mother Earth and being attached to all the living energy that's around us and the seasons.
Yeah. And that's beautiful. And I think the interesting thing too about religion that you said that you like the way we were raised is you come a point where like you question religion. The history is fascinating. And because man is involved, there's a lot of things that got jacked up over time that I couldn't get down with. But I think the point that I'm trying to make is just that we grow up being indoctrinated against our will. And, to the betterment of our parents, right? They want the best for us. They want us, and especially with Catholic, they have, what's called Catholic guilt, where they have all these commandments, or not commandments, sacraments that you have to do and you have to perform and you have to. And if you don't do them all, then, it's against Christ and you're definitely 100% going to hell. And I just remember being like, yeah, no, I'm not down with this.
I struggle with any set of beliefs or religious institution that thinks that anything other than love is the answer.
Is the answer. 100. It's too simple.
Right.
Why do we overcomplicate stuff? It is so simple. Love and kindness.
And compassion.
That is the answer. That will always be the answer.
Right.
That will always be the answer.
It'll always be the answer for me. 100%.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Tequila. Our body is our vessel for your intuition to kind of come to you through, right? And for spirit guides and angels to talk to you and receive messages. And so one big thing is hydrating your body.
Yeah. Not with tequila.
Water. Listen, to be fair, I have 3 drinks.
I also have water here. And I was thinking about this. I was like, I love how we're talking about intuition, which kind of gets hindered by or numbed out by alcohol. But we're recording this on a Friday afternoon, and I'm not going to feel guilty about having a cocktail with.
This is our first cocktail podcast situation.
It is. Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm here for it anyways. But yes, hydration,
water, herbal teas that are comforting and feel good to you. Anything that makes your body feel good, right? If you eat a whole bunch of crap, your body's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel light.
No.
If you can get into your body in a way that you can do some stretches and, drink something that feels good, and maybe eat some foods that ground you to the earth.
Yep.
That's a really good starting point. I would love to run you through a whole plan for having an intuitive day, but it would be so overwhelming.
Yeah.
That
we should say that everything here that we're talking about is one step.
It's one step. Exactly.
Don't do all of this tomorrow. Don't even start.
But you could start. You could start
by
when you wake up tomorrow morning, before you look at a screen, before you do anything, it's just laying there.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you do set up and you do start your day, the first thing, have a moment of gratitude for just being.
Yep. I'm really trying to figure out how to get my phone out of the bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't fully committed to that, but I was listening to a couple different podcasts where they really focus on even like wearing the red glasses at night. So your body really doesn't pick up on the bright lights, which jacks it up to get into your circadian rhythm and get into a sleep schedule that is so critical. I don't know if that was on your list or not, but
the sleep is super critical. I mean, we were talking about that
top 5
this morning when we were talking to you on the phone. Some of these nights are hard for me because I want to get to bed early.
Yes.
So I can wake up early.
Yeah.
But, when Charlie's at rehearsal until 10 o'clock, or, last night I was teaching until 9.
It's a balance. It's a balance. I mean, you can strive to do your best, and then it usually falls somewhere in the middle, and that's okay.
Because then other weeks we're waking up at 6 o'clock and exercising, cold plunging, and doing all the things. And then this morning we're like struggling to get out of bed at, 7:15.
And I'm the type of person too where I will choose sleeping in over basically anything else. What's next on the list for the intuitional?
All right. So other steps that you can do just to kind of start to tap in and get still. Practices like deep breathing, meditation, and just setting aside time to try and listen, right? So if you say, I'm going to set a timer for 2 minutes and I'm just going to get still and I'm just going to try and listen to what comes to me. And that would lead in to another big thing, which I think works for me. I have another friend that I know that this works for as well, which is automatic writing.
That's such a cool exercise. Yeah.
It really is. Do you want to talk about it?
No, I want you to talk about it.
Okay.
I've only done it a couple of times.
Okay. So basically, get a journal, get a pen, and whatever comes into your mind, it doesn't matter if it feels like gibberish, if you don't even understand what you're writing.
Correct.
Just write it.
Yep.
Anything, any thought, any word, any color, any animal, anything that pops in your head, write it.
Yep.
And I actually read a book called The Artist's Way. And the recommendation in that was to do something that they call morning pages. And you would get up every morning and you would just automatically write everything, just brain dump.
It's kind of like a dream journal though, because that's all if I get up first thing in my dreams, they're wildly weird. You and Charles were in my dream last night.
Oh.
And I think it's because we were FaceTiming right before we went to bed.
Yeah.
But because I had the interview today, I was up at 4:45 because what ends up happening is I get up and I immediately was like, other features that would be helpful for them. And I started writing down on a napkin. It's actually right over there. And then I looked at the time and I was like, 4:45. I'd be up by 6. I should just get up now. And the reason I chose to get up was I wanted to have some downtime to meditate and to do some grounding, opening up my energy, protecting my energy. And not so much that I did automatic writing, but I've started taking this meditation, this specific meditation that is Kundalini yoga. which is fascinating, where you actually chant and you do different chants for 2 minutes at a time. And it is rooted, I believe, in Hinduism, maybe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm following a guy, Kyle Gray. He's well known in the spiritual space. He has tarot cards. He's a really cool dude. I love his vibe. He's based out of the UK. And so I'm interested in just learning more and being a sponge. And that's the other thing when you are starting out on a spiritual journey or thinking about it, as we mentioned, just take one step at a time and know that it is a journey. It is not a marathon. It's not a sprint. And when you start tuning into your intuition, sometimes it just takes time to really hear what it has to say and just being present for yourself. What meditations do you find guided, or are you able to just go right into a meditation yourself?
I can just go right into a meditation myself. So it really depends. If I have something that has really been bothering me, like energetically, or been going through a harder time, then a guided meditation is helpful. But otherwise, like if I'm in a good, like energetic space, I can absolutely just snap right into it. But I also started meditating when I was, really young.
Which is crazy.
So
in a great way, not crazy, bad.
But I just realized early on that was something that worked for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what I was doing at the time though.
Yeah.
So you learn what it is.
I was listening to a podcast I sent it to you, of the Uberman Labs, where he was interviewing Rick Rubin.
Will you come on our podcast, please?
Either of you would be an honor. You both are fascinating humans.
And far too, well, our she shed would need to be bigger.
I think both of them would fit in this lovely white chair right there.
On each other's laps?
I mean, I don't know if we'd have them at the same time. They were talking about Rick Rubin has never had alcohol in his life. It just was not something that was presented to him, maybe.
Right.
And then when it was just something he was never interested in, which I just think is amazing.
Yeah.
Different upbringings and, establish different beliefs and, what have you. But he also started meditating at 14.
Yeah.
I don't even think I learned the word meditation till 5 years ago.
Yeah. I would say I was probably around that age.
Which is incredible. I just think that's so great. It's one of those, I get annoyed, maybe annoyed's the wrong word, but I get frustrated when I'm like, why didn't I know about this earlier? Like things could have been different. Things could be, I could be better.
No. Everything happens in divine timing.
I know.
But for me...
But that can be frustrating.
It is frustrating.
To accept,
for sure. I learned it early on. It was a place that I could go without any judgment. So it was a safe haven for me.
Yeah, safe place.
To go and meditate and know that in there...
Yeah.
Just being quiet.
Yeah.
And listening to my intuition. Nobody's going to judge me.
No.
Nobody's going to tell me I'm not good enough. It doesn't matter what size I am.
Right.
Or any of that.
No.
None of it matters.
We are continuing a little bit on the automatic writing.
Writing is a good tool to use to sharpen your intuition. And I have some prompts that I put together for you guys.
Oh, yeah. Prompts are great.
If you want to use these questions, write them down. And then I just want whatever comes to your mind as the answer for you to just write it down. Don't cognitively think about a right or wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to think about whatever comes to mind. The first question would be, what would you do if you spent the whole day listening to your intuition? And just write that down and see if anything comes, right? I would go for a walk. I would spend time, whatever it is that feels good to you. I know when I do this exercise for myself, and I also do this when I'm goal planning as well. I don't know if we've talked about this yet, but I will write my story 6 months in the future. And I'll say, it is this date, and I woke up, and the sun is shining, and it's this many degrees out, and this is what I have planned for my day. And I just go through.
Yeah.
all of the things. And kind of do the same thing with this, but instead of planning it, you're just listening.
Mm-hmm.
Just tap in and listen to whatever messages are coming to you in that moment that feel good. And then the next question would be, what does my intuition want to tell me? Write it down. What messages are there for me? Write the question and see if anything comes to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It might not, right? This is one of these exercises that might take a while for something to actually come to you, or you're just pushing things aside because you're not, paying attention yet. You're stuck in the to-do list that you have running through your head.
When Krystyn's saying listening, I think a lot of people immediately attune that to your ears and hearing.
Mm-hmm.
But listening is just a sense of tapping into all of your senses. So knowing, yes, hearing, feeling, seeing, all of those things are a way of listening.
One suggestion that I have, and this actually had come from my therapist as a grounding exercise, but this is a really great way to get into your senses. And the first thing you do is identify and name name 5
Okay.
Name 5 things that you can see.
What is happening right now?
It's
Okay.
Tequila.
Okay. Just so good.
Ooh, okay. Okay. Name 5.
Here we go. We will have a video of this because somebody cannot get it together.
Okay,
The giggles have descended. Okay. Nope.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Don't just close your eyes. Stop looking at me,
Okay.
Swan.
I can't.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
Stop looking at me. Okay. Name 5.
Maybe I should read it, and then you can just.
I got this, bro. Okay.
Yeah, you got this.
Let's Charlie speak. Here comes Graham. I gotta name 5 things you can see. Name 4 things you can touch. Name 3 things you can hear. 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste.
Ooh.
And it totally resets your senses and grounds you.
I need to do that.
It's great.
Are we ignoring him?
Who?
The human.
What human?
Okay, good.
Yep.
Yeah. So say that one more time for the listeners who couldn't get it the first time.
For the bitches in the back. Here it is.
Or the bitches right across from you.
Name 5 things you can see.
Yes.
4 things you can touch. 3 things that you can hear. 2 things that you can smell. And 1 thing that you can taste.
Yes. No, that's awesome. Amazing. I mean, that's doable in any situation, in any place.
So, when you're doing this, you're going through writing your prompts, you're doing your automatic writing, or you're writing mantras, whatever it is, just try and get still, get intentional. Maybe have some mindful movements, right? If you are into moving your body, whether it can be walking, just going outside and walking, or stretching, or I know some people are into Tai Chi, and there's all sorts of things that you can do to move energy around your body. Just write down the fleeting thoughts. A lot of times our intuition comes in the form of those little fleeting thoughts that we don't pay attention to.
Yes.
So just write them down.
Yeah. And back to your intentional movements, they can be head rolls, they can be shoulder rolls, they can just be moving your hips, they can be, even if you're in an office or a small space, you can still have intentional movement and breathing just within. I mean, I know there's people that will do, this is a different type of meditation, but they'll do transcendental meditation on flights, 6, 10, 12-hour flights.
I would love to try that.
Which sounds wild.
Maybe I should book. Next time I get an email, it's $49 flights. Maybe I should just book one anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Just to
with the return flight. Yeah. You don't want to get stuck somewhere.
Welcome to Des Moines.
Oh, my God.
I have a couple mantras as well.
All right. Let's talk about mantras.
Yeah. I am open and willing to receive messages.
Yep. That's a good one. I always think, too, with mantras, it's do them in a cadence, whatever that cadence is. Mine is 3.
Okay.
But you can do,
I do the same thing.
And if you can, say them out loud because your voice carries a frequency. If you can't, you can still say them in your head and that's
or
still
write them down.
valuable, or write them. But if you can say them out loud, your voice carries frequency, which is really important.
One that I use is I listen to my intuition and I trust my inner guide, because that's really what it is. It's our inner guide.
Yep.
That we get so wrapped up in what we should be doing in this life that we forget to listen to that inner guide.
For sure. And we question everything. So it's kind of taking the questioning out of it, and just like a mantra is kind of like a march, right? Like it's like it has its own rhythm, and it, it has its own special gift.
So if we were going to challenge some of our listeners this week to step into their intuition a little bit more, and they wanted to include some other tools into that, what oils would you recommend for them to use, whether they're diffusing them or putting them on their skin?
Yeah. Okay. I'll stick to like basic, right? First of all, I'll just state that you want to find sustainably sourced oils wherever that may be. Please don't go buy essential oils at Walmart. Just going to put that out there.
Right.
Or some other chain. Go to a local shop that carries them. Find someone that locally does it, or go to Etsy, or go to
Don't they have some at Whole Foods too? Like actually like natural ones?
Yeah, they're better. But there can still be some crap ones there too.
I haven't tried them, but
there can be some okay ones, but I wouldn't say they're the best. You just really want to find essential oils that are pure essential oils and they're not mixed with a bunch of filler oil,
or alcohol.
Yeah, which we tend to do in this country because there's not a lot of regulation around it. If you find quality oil, I would say frankincense is number. You can't go wrong with Frank. Frank is everybody's friend, and it helps with all of the things. There's a reason that it's in the Bible and that Jesus was anointed with frankincense. So frankincense is definitely one too that I feel like most people would be like, oh yeah, I know about that oil. And if you do choose to put it on your body, you can be strategic. I like to put a lot of oils on my third eye, which is in between your eyebrows, kind of like right above in the middle of your forehead, but you can naturally put it on your wrists. You can put it wherever you feel comfortable. Another one that's really great is lavender. Lavender has a calming, beautiful, relaxing scent to it. And so if you don't have oil, you can get dry lavender, you can get fresh lavender, and you can just crush it up in your hands and it will do and have a similar effect. And that's another oil that a lot of people know. And that's one that most people think smells really nice. So we'll go with that. And then, my favorite grounding oils, there's one in particular that's a blend of different types of alpine trees. It's called Sacred Mountain. It's made by Young Living. And that one I always have on me. I wear as perfume. It smells really nice, but it also has these really grounding effects that just help me to stay rooted and stay present.
Yeah.
And then there's another one that is a blend. It's called Valor, also known as Liquid Courage. And we can link some of these, and you can find alternatives, and you can also make your own. Like you can blend your own. You can feel very inclined to do that. But these are some of the oils that come top of mind that I use on a daily basis to help me with my spiritual and mental journeys and rituals.
Yeah. Another tool that you could use would be crystals.
Yes.
And a lot of common crystals, too, are really good for tapping into clairvoyance and psychic abilities and intuition. So one is amethyst, and that is really related to like higher consciousness, right? And really tapping in to that inner guide. Also, for anybody that might be on a journey of release, amethyst is a really big one for letting go of bad habits, sobriety, things of that nature.
Yeah.
I would encourage you even to like sleep with that near your bed.
Yep.
That could be really helpful. Lapis lazuli, I believe is how it's pronounced. It's like a really beautiful blue, like a darker blue crystal. And that's another one that's really attached to inner wisdom.
Oh, nice.
Moonstone, obviously connected to the lunar phases and our intuition.
Yep. Love my moonstone.
Fluorite would be another one that activates the third eye. And there are roller balls that you can buy with crystals in them, which I've done.
Yes.
And you can put like a carrier oil, like fractionated coconut oil, and your oil of choice in it, and then have the added power of the crystal.
Mm-hmm.
And another one that I feel like you would really like is celestite. And that is really about connecting with angels and clairvoyance.
Nice.
Maybe that's another blue, like a lighter blue crystal. And another clairvoyant and clairsentience is opal. So if you feel like you are constantly dragging yourself uphill, or you're pushing away opportunities or people or jobs, it might be a sign that you're just not listening to your intuition.
Yep.
If things seem way harder than they need to be, then there's a good chance that there's some messages out there that you need to just the first step is opening yourself to receive them.
Yep. Oh, another thing I would say, and a recommendation, if you're finding this to be all too overwhelming, there are services and places that you can go and receive energy work, i.e. Reiki. So if you're like, I don't know where to start and I don't really want to start, I'd rather somebody just did it for me, you can go and have a Reiki session, which will unblock your chakras, which can also help lend itself to opening up your intuition.
And if all this sounds crazy, Reiki is a kind of energy healing that practitioners train to be able to do. Some of them do it virtually. I've had virtual Reiki over the phone before that was actually an incredible experience. And otherwise, using their hands or sound bowls or a bunch of different other tools to move air and, generally move energy around your body.
Because your chakras, they run down the length of your body. They're energy centers. And if you think about them and visualize them, they're actually the rainbow. It starts from the root chakra, which is a red, and goes all the way up to the top of your head, which is your crown chakra. And they spin almost like a top, and so if you get them spinning and they're all flowing together and spinning and doing all of the things at the best of their ability, that's when the magic really starts to happen. It's, it's like an onion. You start peeling the layers back and you're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God,
Right. So it can be, again, start small steps, hydrate your body, move your body, get still, listen, and give yourself an opportunity to listen to your intuition. Go to the library and just intuitively pick a book off the shelf.
Yep.
Whatever you're drawn to.
Yep. Oh, I love that exercise.
There might be a message in there for you.
Another way that intuition tends to come to me is through music. I'll be in a certain sense because I'm an intuitive empath, which just means I'm really comfortable with my feelings. And I sense, so out of all of the clairsentience is it's the feeling, and that's my strongest clair. Like I can walk into a room and just get a sense of the energy and how people are feeling. And I also am the person that, my husband always jokes, but he's like, what just happened? And I'm like, they're going through a lot and they just told me their whole life story. And he's like, you just met them. And I'm like, I know. So people feel very comfortable opening up to me. And so when I get into my senses and my feelings, I find refuge a lot of times in music. And so if I am in a funky place and I need to bounce out of it and I want to bounce out of it, then I'll put on music. And usually the music and the songs that come, I'm like, this is exactly what I needed to hear. Music is another way that you can, tap into that. And you can get messages. When I do readings for people, 9 times out of 10, I always get a song that comes with the card, which I didn't know in the beginning. I was like, why do songs keep coming to me? But then I just realized that's just part of my gift. That's just part of how I work. And it's just a part of the messages that I'm receiving on behalf of other people. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I mean, I would encourage you to, if you have children, to just kind of start to be aware, because they tap into their intuition without even realizing they're doing it.
Totally.
Automatically.
For sure.
And so Evie and I actually practice sending thoughts back and forth to each other to see if the other one can pick up on it. It's just like something that we do. And today we had a Target drive up order this morning. And so once you like put your space in, they send you a code on the app. And so I was like, okay, what's the code? And she nailed 3 of the numbers in order.
Wow.
And was 1 digit off on the other. And they're completely random. Like,
oh. Yeah. Let's play the lottery, Evie.
Right.
Let's go.
She does it all the time, though. But the minute she starts thinking about it, she loses it.
She's gone.
Yep. It's gone.
She's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Charlie even picked up on that with her early on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, she's super in tune.
Yeah.
Doesn't even realize it.
Yeah.
She has no clue.
And it's like one of those things too where you start paying attention, then you'll start picking up on it more.
I really truly believe that one of the reasons that we become disconnected from our intuition is because we learn throughout our life to not trust ourselves.
Totally. Our ego too. We let our ego come in and rule that shit. And then it's, and we're always told, especially me, I was always told, you feel too much. You feel too much. It's, oh no, Rachel, you're too emotional. Yeah, I am. If you are inclined to want to get in touch and ask, because this is the other thing that we'll just put out there is, we're not in this world alone, and we are actually not supposed to be doing all of this work by ourselves. And yes, we have a community, and you have family, and you have chosen family, and you have friends and all of that. But on the other side of things, on the spiritual side of it, a lot of people say, pray. You pray to God. You pray to a higher being. And when you pray, you are asking for help. You are asking for your prayers to be answered. You're asking God to intervene on some level, or to provide signs, or to heal, or to comfort, or to love, or whatever the case may be. But when you do that act, you are inviting God in. You're asking for help. So the law of free will basically exists to say angels, God, Mother Nature, the universe, Mother Earth, whatever you pray to or you ask for help, when you call upon them, you're initiating that. Without doing that step, nothing can be done. If you say you need help with finances, you can ask the universe to help you, but you have to ask, and you have to be intentional, and you have to be specific. And so we could probably dive into that in a whole separate podcast, but that's a part of it that is important to note, is there is the law of free will.
And that just means also, if you've ever had a psychic reading by someone and they said that you are going to, now this is a good example. I had multiple psychics tell me throughout the years that I was going to have one child and then twins way later. And Charlie and I were recently talking about this. The law of free will is that you can change that by how you change your life, the course of your life, and the choices that you make, right? You can accept that into your life.
Because our destiny it's not written in stone.
And I mean, again, this all comes down to like your very specific belief system, which, some people may not believe in that.
They may not get that.
Right.
There's plenty of people that are going to be like, fuck that, no way.
And we love you. We love you too, people. If you don't get down with what we're saying.
Yeah.
If you don't agree.
You have to do what's in your comfort zone. And even if you're like pushing and leaning into fear a little bit.
I would disagree with you. I don't think you have to do what's in your comfort zone. I think that keeps us stagnant.
It can, but I think there's seasons where you should stay in your comfort zone.
Okay.
Or you do stay in your not you should, but like you do stay in your comfort zone. I know for me personally, I've definitely had seasons where there was like way too much shit going on and I needed to just stay the course. And then there were other seasons where I was like, fuck the course, let's go. I just think to your point, I think there's seasons of comfortability and leaning into that and getting outside of because I always say now I'm like, I love to get comfortable being uncomfortable, but there was definitely a time where that wasn't the case.
Discomfort is not a threat.
No.
Even though we feel like it is.
That's right.
Yeah. So remember, tell yourself today, it's safe to trust yourself. It's safe to trust myself.
Yes.
That's a big one for me.
Yeah. It's safe to trust myself. That's a great one too. And my intuition is strong.
And it's safe to receive messages.
Yes.
You don't have to be afraid of what you might get.
No. Because your messages are always for your greatest and higher good.
Even if it's a door slamming shut in your face.
Oh, God. Sometimes those are the hardest and the best messages. We love recording. It's so good for us as friends, but also to reiterate, I am a learner and a teacher by saying. So for me, when I get to talk and share, that it's so good for my soul and my growth because it helps me to reiterate the path that I'm on. So thanks, Krystyn, for doing this with me.
Thank you too. This gives me another opportunity to trust myself. I had a friend that was listening to the podcast and she was like, you have no idea how much you have to share.
Yeah.
And I never think about it that way.
Yeah.
You
One, as a light worker, which I consider both of us to be.
Correct.
And I have always had a servant heart where there is nothing that brings me more joy than helping others. And I think with the podcast and the platform, you don't know who you're helping, which is kind of the mysterious part of it.
I love that so much.
And I love that. I think that, there's someone out there that is listening that we are helping in a real way.
Yeah.
And I feel that in my soul. I don't just think that. I feel that. And that's why this podcast is what this podcast is, right? Because it's bigger than us, and we want to share the shit that we've done, the shit we've experienced, where we fall down, where we grow, and
right.
all of the little nitty gritty details and stories that are hilarious. And
we would love to hear your stories of tapping into your intuition.
Yeah.
So please share them with us. Feel free to email us at twomysticmamas@gmail.com and maybe we'll read some on one of the next podcasts.
Should have, because we didn't really share too many stories of our own intuitions, but I have some good ones.
I feel like we're still learning the balance between storytelling and, how much
and sharing information for people. Yeah.
That we can give.
Yeah.
So thank you for being on this learning journey with us as we navigate those podcast waters.
Oh, man. Yes.
We could talk to you guys
but
all
we hope
day
you are
long.
enjoying this audio because it's the shiznit, is it not?
So
So good. Thanks, Charles and Jeffrey. You sexy motherfuckers.
Sexy motherfucking husbands out there giving us new equipment so we can sound.
I think they're drinking by
official.
themselves, though. So
they're together, so they're not by themselves.
They're drinking, yeah. Anyways.
They're in there just boosting each other up right now. They're already talking about what they're going to record because they have said they're going to record their first podcast this evening.
God.
And the two Mystic Minis also want to record, I'm sure.
Yeah. All right. We have so much in store for you down the line. Yeah, keep listening and loving on us, and we will keep loving on you. And, do something kind for a stranger today and smile and maybe take a nap.
Take a nap like Stevie snoring away.
Get some sleep.
Bye,
All right. We love you.